What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to take a look at the Star Wars Jedi Survivor 9 minutes of gameplay that IGN posted today. It's really good. Now, I don't have too much to say, so this should be shorter than the 9 minutes, footage that they put out. It's a lot of the same, and that may turn people off. I know people tend to have differing opinions on, like, God of War to God of War Ragnarok, or in this case, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order to Star Wars Jedi Survivor. It does look like more of the same, but that's not a bad thing. We do see some new enemies. We see a brand new location. We see new lightsaber techniques. We see new force powers. It's not literally a one-to-one thing. We're just watching more Fallen Order footage. It does absolutely look better, and those are the strengths, right? Honestly, Fallen Order was so good from a lot of different ways, but honestly, in terms of the gameplay that we're seeing here, Jedi Fallen Order was fantastic. There's not too much that you need to massively overhaul. You need to do pretty much what I just said that we saw in this video. A new location. We see Cal with the double-bladed lightsaber. We see Cal with dual-wielding lightsaber. We see him just with the single. He's fighting new enemies. There's new moves. There's new finishers. It looks really, really good. It also looks difficult, just like the first game actually is. I do want to talk about this very, very specific nitpick. Early on in this 9-minute thing, he's facing an enemy, and it hits him a couple times. It gets like 2 or 3 hits on Cal, loses a lot of health. And you see the developer, whoever's playing it, they weren't locked on. But you could tell like Cal was somewhat facing the enemy and he maybe should have been ready for it. And then after the couple hits, after Cal's health is pretty low, he locks on and he finishes the enemy off. And so having just played Fallen Order again 3 years later to get ready for this, I will say that was something that enormously frustrated me in that game, where it feels like you shouldn't have to lock on. If Cal is in a certain radius of an enemy and he's somewhat looking at the enemy, you feel you should be able to block it. And I don't know, it's just something, I don't know if maybe I'm the only one on the planet that saw that little moment, but that reminded me of, I do believe, a gameplay issue with Fallen Order that I will say does not look like it was fixed, okay? It looks like it's going to be roughly the same thing. But we get to see battle droids. We get to see cool little finishers when Cal is, climbing, and then he kind of jumps up and takes it out. Those force powers I mentioned earlier, well, other their force powers, they actually use the force quite often in this little gameplay showcase here. He picks enemies up, he throws them back, he does a lot of stuff, but then he also does a lot of things with his lightsabers as well. We saw the one little trick that we saw back in the Game Awards trailer with the double-bladed lightsaber, where he kind of like revolves it like a hula hoop kind of around him, and it destroys a bunch of enemies. We saw that, but we also saw seemingly something similar to that, but if he was dual wielding, right, where he kind of like whips the lightsaber and it kind of like twirls. So I really like it. Again, there's not too much to talk about. I don't know where this fits in like with the lore. You get a little back and forth with him and BD, but I don't think there's much you can read from it. It's just good to kind of see how it's going to run. And again, to be honest, the most controversial thing with the entire video is it's not all that much different. It's more of the same, but tweaks and upgrades in the areas that you would want there to be, right? You can face these enemies using the different lightsaber techniques. Now, I'm sure, as we've experienced with the first game, some of these techniques are going to be better for some enemies versus others, but you do what you want. It's most likely going to be a challenging game. It looks huge. And so let me know what you guys think about it in the comments below. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.